All right, call the meeting to order. Welcome to the Tewksbury Conservation Commission meeting of August 11th, 2021, and we'll get right to it. All right, first item on the agenda is a continuation from 6/23/2021. This applicant is requesting a continuation to the next meeting. Do I hear can I have a motion to continue the request for a certificate of compliance? Kevin Hardiman, PE, Town Engineer, River Road, map 27, lots 14, 21, 22, 24, DEP number 3051045.
So moved. Second.
Second. All those in favor of voting aye, please. I'm sorry, I'm new to this.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye as well. All right. Agenda item B, request for a certificate of compliance, Kelly Doherty for New England Power Company, J162/J162A, transmission line right-of-way, map 35, lot 13, DEP number 3051120. Is there anybody here for that?
I have Allison Millman on through WebEx.
All right. Hopefully we can hear her. No, you're fine.
Thank you.
All right.
So I'm here before you today to request a certificate of compliance for DP number 3051120 and DP number 3051115 for soil borings that were completed last fall through the winter time on the J162 transmission line. I did complete a site walk with Joe, a conservation agent, and we reviewed the restoration of those locations, and it has achieved 70% to 75% vegetative cover. So therefore, we would like to please request a certificate of compliance for these two orders of conditions.
All right. Joe, did you have any questions or concerns or anything?
Nope. During the site walk, the vegetative cover looked good. There's no complaints from my end. The recovery of everything looked in good condition, so no comments on my end.
Any other commission members have any comments or concerns?
No questions. No comments.
I'm not hearing any. Can I have a motion to approve the request for certificate of compliance, Kelly Doherty for New England Power Company, J162/J162A, transmission line right-of-way, map 35, lot 13, DEP number 3051120.
So moved. Second.
Second. All those in favor of voting yes, please.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye as well. The request for a certificate of compliance has been approved. All right. Agenda item C is very similar. Request for certificate of compliance, Kelly Doherty for New England Power Company, J162/J162A, transmission line right-of-way, maps 9 and 35, lots 14 and 4, DEP number 305-1115. Is there anybody here for that?
Good evening. This is Allison Millman again from BSC Group on behalf of New England Power. These areas were also visited with Joe last week to look at the restoration and vegetative cover. Based on our observations, the site has achieved full restoration and is 70 to 75% vegetative cover. Therefore, we are requesting certificate of compliance for order of conditions 305-1115, please.
Joe, any concerns?
Nope. All good from my end, similar as the last DEP file number.
Nice. Commission members, any concerns? Not hearing any.
No questions.
I will, is there a motion? Can I have a motion to request for the request for a determination of applicability? Tewksbury, I'm mixed up. Hold on. Can I have a motion for the request for certificate of compliance, Kelly Doherty, for New England Power Company J162/J162A transmission line right-of-way, maps 9 and 35, lots 14 and 4, DEP number 3051115.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Can I get this right the third time? All those in favor of voting yes, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Your certificate of compliance has been approved.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. And is this the one that was, no, all right. Next item on the agenda, request for determination of applicability, Tewksbury Department of Public Works, Andrew Stack, PE, Regina S. Drive, and Monroe Circle.
Is there a place best to set this up? I know there's at least one abutter interested in this.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the, whether the cameras can get it. Are we, all right, yeah, you're good right there.
Okay, and I can just describe the project and flip these. Just for the record, Scott Morrison from Ecotech, here with Andrew Stack, DPW, and Jason, the engineer. We filed a request for determination of applicability for work associated with 2 sewer pump stations. The work consists of installation of grinder pumps as well as conduit lines for the electrical connections that are required. This particular project, this section is the Monroe Circle project. If you look in the green shaded area, is the bordering vegetated wetland. We've got the 25, 50, and the limit of the coloring is the 100 buffer zone. If you look, the black circle, just above the green area, is the proposed grinder pump location, so it will be within the existing roadway. There are some connections to the existing facility, which are located closer to the wetlands, just off the pavement. So there's a conduit that's required to be installed and some switches that are required. We're proposing an erosion control barrier consisting of silt fence, straw wattles to protect the adjacent wetland resource area. The other thing that's proposed, there's some details on a separate sheet, so that if there's any dewatering that's required when they install the system, they'll pump that water into a dirt bag so that it'll be filtered before any water is discharged back to the wetland. Let me flip to the next page. So that's the work located in the 100-foot buffer zone on Monroe Circle. If we flip to the next page, you'll see that the work, we've delineated the wetland resource area, which is that green color along the left-hand edge. We've highlighted the area, the existing roadway. The yellow is the erosion control barrier. And if you look, there's the 25, 50, and 100-foot buffer zone. This particular project, all the work's located outside the buffer zone. Since we were filing for the other project, we included this just to give the commission a chance to review it under this request for determination. We've notified the abutters. We provided that information to Joe. Again, this will be, the wetlands will be protected, through the erosion control barrier during construction of this particular project. I'd be happy to answer questions, and the rest of the team's here and available to answer any questions that the commission may have.
All right, I'll start off. Joe, do you have any questions or concerns?
For Monroe Circle, it's, as shown on your plan, the proposed work would also be within land subject to flooding. It's within the 100-year floodplain.
Yeah, let me show that to you. Yeah, so that line's this dotted line here. That said, all the work will be located, it's essentially the work in the roadway. They're going to set that back on the same exact grade, so there won't be any loss in compensatory flood storage due to the project.
Is there going to be any work in the 25-foot buffer zone? Because we
The
used,
only thing that would be within that would be the erosion control barrier, but there's no work proposed within that zone.
so there's no changing of it, and you're just going to be abutting the 25?
Correct, so the 25's here. This is the work in the roadway, so you get 25 to 50. So all the work's proposed outside that 25, with the exception of just installing the erosion control.
So the erosion control is
wraps
on,
around the entire
right.
system. So that's the only thing that would be within that zone.
So the pump system isn't within the 50-foot no-build zone?
Correct. This is the 50 here.
Right.
So this would be within the existing roadway outside that 50. The only portion that's within that 50 is the trenching required to provide electricity back to this unit, which will be restored upon completion, and those switch controls within the existing pump facility.
Okay, so within the 50-foot no-build zone, you don't have a lot of excavating to do?
No, it would simply just be temporary trenching, which would be restored upon completion.
Okay.
It's all within asphalt for both projects, correct?
Yes.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions, concerns, comments? All right, so this is a public hearing, so if there are any members of the community who would like to come up and address, please do so now. Can we just move that out of the way? So
Yeah. Sorry, I'll move this.
It's bad, we can't see what it
Yeah.
is this good?
Yeah.
I'm Phyllis Giblin at 11 Monroe Circle, and I just wanted to understand, what does that grinder do?
So the grinder is upstream of the sewer pump station, and it basically grinds up the wastewater before it gets to the sewer pump station. So a lot of people will do things like flush those disposable wipes and things down their toilets, which are really not good for our wastewater system because they clog up the sewer pump station pumps and require the DPW sewer division to constantly go out there to maintain those pumps because they're getting clogged up all the time. So this will help grind it up so it's not going to foul up those pumps.
So it will take care of any kind of diapers, wipes, thing, because apparently when the last time the pump was blocked and they had to go there in the middle of the night to unclear it, there was a diaper in there.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of weird things in there. And probably, because this is all coming from the school too, right?
Yes.
So who knows what's going to go down there? Does that grinder take care of almost anything? I mean, like pens, pencil, things like that?
I'm sure it would grind up a pen without any problems, but there's no guarantees on what it's going to grind up. But it'll definitely help out any of the common things that they'll find in our wastewater system, such as those disposable wipes and things like that, which are probably the biggest problem with these sewer pump stations.
Okay, and then is there any plan, from what I understand, there is no plan, but they are not going to be upgrading that pump because the school is being connected in?
No, it's not, because they did an analysis of the existing flows to that pump station and the proposed additional flows coming from the school, and the pumps do have sufficient capacity to handle the calculated flows.
So I just want to point out to the committee that there are only like 6 houses that are connected to that pump currently, because the rest of the ones on Monroe Circle are on a septic system. And still, we've had some problems over the years with clogging. And now we're going to be connecting a 750 student school to that same connection. And I brought it up many times to the town manager about, are you not going to be upgrading? I have a hard time believing that that same pump is going to be able to take care the whole school, the 750 student school, when there's been problems with just 6 houses. I really am shudder about that, what's going to happen if it backs up for whatever reason, or it gets clogged, or whatever the problems that could happen at the end of the street. I just feel very uncomfortable. It's not necessarily, maybe the grinder will help to maybe, liquefy things, maybe will help it to go through. I'm just bringing up that I really wonder about the pump itself.
Obviously this isn't the same as an upgrade to all of the sewer, but you would consider this an upgrade to the overall system. And it's supposed to alleviate those effects of what we're talking about, like, and it's not an endorsement, I take it, that you can just start flushing baby wipes and diapers and stuff. Like, that's still not allowed anywhere. We're not saying you can do that, but it's for those things that get into the sewer.
I would say it's probably best categorized, is probably more like a reliability issue. So instead of having the pump take care of all this, it's essentially pre-treated before it gets to the pump.
All right.
That's,
Yeah, it makes the job of the pumps easier, because the solids are shredded. Instead of a whole diaper, it's pieces of a diaper.
Yeah.
But like you said, they shouldn't be there anyway, but they end up there.
Is the pump an open impeller pump, or have you looked into that technology yet? Or is it semi-open to try to just push all the solids through so they don't clog? Like a flight or something like that?
This is an impeller pump, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, because it's single-phase power, still having issues with the
Yep.
Related to it is just even the pipes. Are they deemed, the pipes that are coming, they're new from the school, but as far as on Monroe Circle, where they're pushing all this in to go into this grinder and then into the same pump that's already there. Can those pipes take on that extra load? Again, that's what I'm afraid of, is that all of a sudden things are going to start bursting, and then we're in trouble in our own homes, and I don't know. I just have a big concern about it.
Yeah, I get your concern, but can you address that further? Like, when designing the school, it was taken into account the extra water load by professionals.
Yes, the entire wastewater from the school was engineered between there and downstream.
So you're just going to cycle the pumps more, right? To keep up with the flows?
I'm sorry?
You're going to just cycle the pumps more to keep up with the flows? So the more flow that comes in, it'll just keep drawing down a lot quicker.
Exactly.
They'll run a
So the same pump can handle it, you'll just run the pump more often.
Yeah, this pump, I don't know what the run times are for this pump, but I'm guessing it runs maybe once or twice a day, where it'll just run more frequently, especially during school hours.
And that's just an automated.
Yes.
Yeah, once
It runs
the
on
water
flows.
level rises up to a certain level, flow rises and it'll activate the pumps.
All right.
And I had one more question. What is that erosion trench? Is that what you call it?
I think the erosion control.
Yeah.
So the erosion control will be two things. One, silt fence, which is, if you've driven around, you've seen like that, it looks like low black fencing, which is entrenched. That's the kind of filter water that gets through. And there's straw wattles. So it's a kind of a round tubular sock filled with straw that also acts as an erosion control barrier. So if anything, any water with any sediments flushes through, it's treated before it gets to the wetland. So any sediments or any soil that's in that water gets filtered before it reaches the wetland.
And where is that located?
It will be located around the back side of that pump station, so that anything that flows in that direction will be captured.
And that's just temporary during construction. It's just for like surface water during construction when they install the stuff. They'll have to sometimes pump out the groundwater that's in that area to install these things. And it's basically to essentially filter it out before it goes to the wetlands. We're not pumping sediments and silt into the wetlands.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one comment. From a regulatory perspective, there's certainly exemptions for work within the areas of the buffer zone that you guys are proposing. For land subject to flooding, I just want to make sure that what you're saying is because it's just the same surface elevation, there's no loss in compensatory flood storage? Okay.
Yeah, so for example, let's assume that this is the pavement, they've got to excavate, install that manhole.
Yeah.
That will be flush with the existing pavement surface.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, there's going to be no loss of flood storage.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Are there any other questions or comments from members of the public? Not seeing any. What's the meeting number or the phone number for this? I don't see it. If any, do we have any calls? No. All right. All right. So.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Appreciate that. Do I have a second to close the motion, the public hearing? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chairman votes aye as well. The public hearing is closed. Do I hear a motion to,
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for a negative determination for Andrew Stack, Tewksbury Department of Public Works, Regina S. Drive and Monroe Circles, multiple maps and lots.
I'll second that motion.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chairman votes aye as well. All right, so there's been a negative determination of applicability.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Missing something here. What am I missing?
And now, the next one has been postponed or delayed. Is that the one?
Yeah, so
Withdrawn.
item E has been withdrawn.
All right, so we'll go to item F. This is request for certificate of compliance, Todd and Andrea Johnson, 71 Wells Drive, map 9, lot 95, DEP number 305756. Don't,
I'm recluse myself.
all right. Do I have to announce that,
What's that?
do I have to announce that a member is recusing
Yeah,
himself?
Mr. Sheehan has recused himself because he is the builder of the property, which was like 10 years ago or 8 years ago or so. So it'd be in the best interest of the committee that he recused himself.
All right, so we don't have anybody here to speak to that. Did you have anything to say?
Regarding this is a situation where someone's requesting a certificate of compliance for an old order of conditions. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about
Yeah.
the project itself.
Reading through everything, it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So,
It's one where they'll have to come in one at a time.
yes,
All
because the
11.
original developer didn't get it.
Right. Well,
Each individual,
it's tough to prove the order of condition has been met when you have to wait for 2 or 3 growing seasons.
Right.
That's why they have to come in individually, and if you brought them all in at once, what happens if it's all on one ticket, then if somebody doesn't comply, then the whole thing doesn't comply. So they're better off coming in individually. And, Mr. Chairman, I have no problem with this. I think
Yeah.
this is, it's 10 years old or so.
yeah. All right, get this stuff out of the way.
So if nobody has any other questions, Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to approve the certificate of compliance for Todd and Andre Johnson, 71 Wells Drive, map 9, lot 95, DEP number 305756.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of voting yes, please say aye.
Aye.
Chairman votes aye as well. The request for a certificate of compliance has been approved. All right. All right, enforcement order. I'm going to apologize in advance for how I might pronounce some stuff. Enforcement order Jose de Oliveira and Mariela dos Reis, 765 Whipple Road, map 31, lot 57, unpermitted grading, excavating, and/or filling within the buffer zone of a wetland resource area. I don't see anybody coming to speak on that,
The conservation agent can fill us in.
Yep. So on August 6th, I did a drive by the site, noticed there was some soil stockpiles in the area. It just seemed suspicious. I checked it out, talked with the homeowner, and they have, unpermitted grading going on there on the western portion of their property. They're grading and they're just doing earthwork around the rear of the property. As you may be able to tell from some of the site photos, they are really close to a wetland and they abut that pond there. I'm blanking on the name of the pond.
Long Pond.
Long Pond. So, as an immediate measure, I ordered a cease and desist to prevent all construction action from continuing to happen. I informed the homeowner of the permitting process and what they need to do. In the immediate future, I informed them that they need to establish sediment and erosion controls, such as placing a cover over the soil stockpiles, weighing those down to prevent erosion, placing silt fence around the perimeter of the property, or at least the rear of the property, to prevent sediment from flowing into the wetland directly. I informed them that it would be advisable for them to attend the meeting, but I was informed that they would not be able to attend. Today I issued the enforcement order because I thought it was a better vehicle for enforcing the sediment and erosion controls. So that's where we are right now. I've talked with them today and just reinforced them probably, they may want to pursue hiring a wetland consultant to flag out the wetlands and present this to us, their project to us in a notice of intent or RDA, depending on where that wetland boundary is exactly.
Well, just for a point of information too, we spent a lot of money on Long Pond in the last 5 years through CPA funds and stuff. So I'd hate to see all that money wasted because a homeowner was negligent.
Yeah.
So I would advise them to appear before this board and present us with a plan, a restoration plan, and/or a development plan of what they're trying to do. With the wetland delineations, the 100-foot buffer, 50-foot, 25-foot, and take some snapshots of what they did for the erosion control, because that's more important now that we invested all that money in that pond.
And my understanding, they're new homeowners. This is not militia, they didn't.
Right, they didn't do it deliberately.
Yeah, but the point is very well understood that we have spent a lot of money on Long Pond, and, we don't want to see that, go back to where it was. Yeah. All right, so I guess, do you, the enforcement order, do we have?
I'll make a motion to ratify the enforcement order for Jose de Oliveira, Mariel DeRose at 765 Whipple Road, Tewksbury, Massachusetts. And I'll make that motion to ratify the enforcement order.
I'll second that motion.
Everybody approve, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the chairman votes aye as well. All right, enforcement order has been approved or ratified, or I'm not sure exactly the correct terminology. All right, yeah. You skipped two of them, but it's okay. Sorry about that. I didn't
Did we
see
have
you,
minutes?
I don't.
I don't think.
No, we didn't have any
Okay.
minutes. All right, next item on the agenda is open space discussion. Is there anybody here for that? Please state your names and information.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Bosch-Kenny. I am the chair of the Open Space, Recreation, and Planning Committee. And today I have Chris Mullen and Paige Impink, who are also members of our committee.
Welcome.
We are here to propose, since we've been working on putting a lot of land on the Conservation Department's lists from the recent town warrants, the last, I think, two. We're proposing to have some sort of markers for the land, so people, the community members, can know where like the paths begin, where they can go and enjoy some of the open space and trails that we have in town. I have Chris and Paige. They have a couple.
Yeah, Mr. Roner, I don't know if you recall, but at the last town meeting, we probably had a 15-second blink and you missed a conversation about this that I think you brought up in regards to some kind of markation on our conservation lands. This past year, open space has been, we've put a lot of work forward. We've done a lot of, not housekeeping work, but a lot of work where we don't need to be in the field. As you know, open space has a great volunteer resource. So as we start bringing that up and looking towards what we can do next, we're also looking at our plan, and as well as all the other boards and committees in town. When you get the bird's eye view of every group as a whole, you see a lot of overlap, and I don't mean overlap as in redundancy. I mean potential shared goals, and it feels like this specifically is something that we could partner with the Concom to develop and push forward. We didn't want to do it ourselves. We thought it would be a good opportunity to share resources and really come together for a project similarly to how beautification works. Beautification works with a lot of different boards and bodies in town, and we'd like to do the same with open space.
Great.
Hey. And I'll just piggyback on that and thank everyone on the committee. I don't know if all the members of Conservation were present for the Open Space and Recreation. And welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
We'll be working with you as well on our committee. When we presented the Open Space Plan, which was adopted by the state and is part of Tewksbury's master plan. So working from that plan, we obviously have goals that we have to achieve, which Chris alluded to, and we provided you with just an overview so that you could have a sense of what we were talking about. Demarcating our lands as conservation has multiple benefits for the community. It obviously lets the residents know that these are protected areas in our town. It helps to, we believe, enhance stewardship, and it also helps to curtail activities that happen on our open space lands that are not permitted by our open space rules as adopted by the Board of Selectmen. This is a practice that many communities undertake. And so as we evolve our open space access for our residents, it just seems that the time is right now to work collaboratively on some type of a conservation marker, since these lands are under the purview of the Conservation Commission, so that there's no question when somebody walks into an open space area what it is. So on our info sheet for you, just gave you some examples of what other communities do. And what I want to be clear about, and the committee will also back me up on this, is that these are not trail markers. We take care of the trail markers, that's not an issue. This is rather more of a boundary marker, that you'd be coming into an area that is, again, under the purview of conservation. So that's where we wanted to just come here for a discussion, at least to start. This is a big job. It's something that, again, we'd like to do collaboratively, and wanted to talk among the members and see what your ideas are, maybe what other experiences are from other locations. Perhaps propose a working subcommittee that would make sense to kind of go back and just sit down and hash out ideas about prioritizing parcels that would make sense to start with. Come up with some type of a design that everybody could agree on, that would reflect the community. Go from there.
Yeah, and you know, we're not expecting to leave this meeting with the solution.
Oh, no.
For us, this is just the start of a conversation. And as Paige said, a collaboration, because, you know, we could certainly take this on. We, you know, invite the Concom to be a part of this with us, because it just seems like it's the right time to really start, you know, moving different bodies in town together. You know, personally, for me, you know, when I look at all of the different groups in town, I think everything should be like spinning like the inside of a Swiss watch. You know, everything is connected, and often we're always working in our own individual silos. And I think we should kind of blur some boundaries from time to time, and this feels right.
Yeah, this seems good. And it may be something that seems daunting also, because, so Joe understands, and some of the members that may not be aware, Open Space and Recreation has been working over the past several town meetings to take a large inventory of unprotected land and move it by vote into conservation's purview, so that these lands are permanently protected for the community. In some cases, they're large parcels that are useful for trails. In other cases, they're just teeny tiny pieces that are able to be protected. We don't expect to ever develop them into any kind of a recreation resource, passive or active, but they serve as a woodland area. They serve as flood storage. So, you know, we're very cognizant of that. So part of that effort, we're hoping by special town meeting to tie up the last bit of that inventory. There's been an incredibly positive appetite in the community for this as well. So we're encouraged, and that's why we also feel that there would be great volunteer opportunity to go out and actually mark trees and all that stuff. And you know, we have resources on our committee that are Bay Circuit Trail members, who also now have the backing of the Appalachian Mountain Club. So we have widely adopted guidelines and so forth, just in case anybody's saying, oh my goodness, how are we going to actually execute something like this? As Chris said, it doesn't happen overnight. And I wanted to show you we have some examples of trail markers. I'm sure if you've been on trails in other communities, you've seen them. You know, it would not say trail, it might just say Town of Tewksbury Conservation Commission with some, maybe we have a turkey, I don't know. Something that's, you know, unique to Tewksbury. These are the trail marker medallions that we use for our open space trails in Tewksbury right now. So these are the ones that actually crisscross the parcels that have been developed. Any questions on that?
So what you're trying to do is just put demarcation markers so people don't go in the conservation area or the wetlands. Is that the point? Or is this something just to say this is conservation land, welcome in?
Precisely.
Okay.
Oh, yes, no, this is not, these are community assets. These are places that the community.
Well, the reason I say the demarcation, because we force people to put demarcation in their yard saying, don't go beyond this point in your own yard.
Surely.
So that's why I don't want to get confused about it.
Yeah.
So this is just to mark that it is conservation in and welcome.
Precisely.
Okay.
Boundary, yes.
So, yeah, so people don't go wandering onto residence or personal property as well, just to say, here's, the conservation area, you can come in here, just to kind of give a little bit of line, where it is open to the public versus
Right.
somebody's personal property.
Okay.
Versus many of us who enjoy the open spaces here, sometimes it's a little hard to
Oh, yeah.
see where that line
Where that
is.
line
when
is.
You have access to, say, the Chandler Wellfields in many neighborhoods. So without knowing, where the path is, you're like, is that a path? Is that somebody's yard?
Well, that's the reason I asked that
Right,
question,
yeah,
was
yeah.
because if it says conservation, can I go through or can I not?
Yeah.
That's why I say put welcome on our side. It
Yeah.
doesn't, not what I say, but something that reflects you can go here,
Precisely.
Precisely.
The demarcation lines that we have for wetlands, that's not saying, like, you can't walk through here, you're not allowed on that, it's saying.
That's basically
don't
what it's
do-
saying.
Well, I thought,
No, it is saying that if somebody comes in and we approve whatever they're building and stuff, we always have demarcation at the 25-foot buffer zone. That means don't go in there. You know what I mean?
Like,
Don't throw
don't
leaves in
build
there.
any- yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, you're not even supposed to disturb it, at 25 foot. So I'm just trying to get to the point where we can't use a Tewksbury demarcation, say, do not come in, but we want something for Tewksbury that says, come on in. So
Yeah.
that's my point.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, each medallion would be for its own appropriate use. I mean, we wouldn't try to, mix and match, like they would be very clearly defined
All right.
on the,
Yeah.
medallions themselves.
yeah, because there's large areas of land that, some of it's grass, and it seems like it'd be a perfect place to throw a Frisbee or something, whatever it is, but there are wetlands right there, and we don't want to advertise, go stomping through these
Right.
wetlands,
Right.
Any other commission members?
Did you say you're ratifying new land as wetlands too, like through your process, or making new wetlands?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, no, no. We have there's an existing inventory. You can access the open space plan on the town website, and you can see the parcels that have been protected and those that are still yet to be protected. That's all it is, the parcels. I mean, there's a variety of, what would you call it? Category, or attributes, really. Some are wet, some are not.
Yeah,
some
I just
are
want to make sure, whatever,
scrubby.
if you're adding anything, it's getting included in like the People GIS, so that everyone knows that this is land that we have to protect, and
Oh,
it's
sure.
pretty much,
Yeah, all the parcels
we're doing our
Are
job.
all identified.
are all
Okay.
identified,
Yep.
they're already owned by the town, we're just moving them from like non-protected or semi-protected to fully protected.
It's just a
Yeah.
categorization effort.
Yeah, yeah. It just seems that it makes sense since it falls under the purview of the Conservation Commission that, we should work together on this and come up with something that, then we can promote in the community so people become aware. Yes, we have these parcels. Yes, when you see this medallion, this is what it means. Maybe it does help provide enforcement also, because it's no mistaking where these people are. And so many other communities do this. If you walk trails in other towns, you can see that. And that's where we wanted to start with the conversation.
All right, so I don't think this is a public hearing, but there is a person from the community who would like to speak, so please state your name.
Alex Lauder, 1001 Whipple Road, and also an employee in the Department of Community Development, which encompasses planning, zoning, and conservation. To start, I think this is a great idea, but I do just want to make the distinction that not all open space is under the purview of the Conservation Commission. It is generally the parcels that are, as Paige mentioned, deemed so by a vote at town meeting or special town meeting, just because there's a lot of open space incorporated into subdivision plans and things like that that are not open to the public. They are under the purview of the HOAs that they surround. So it will, in order to mark out more conservation land and permanently protected and preserved land, it'll involve more than just the Concom, because they'll really only be able to do that or authorize that for the parcels that they are in charge of. I just wanted to make that distinction for public benefit. I
Sure,
don't have any
thank
problem
you.
with this. Thank you.
Yeah, because like some of the developments, like it's great that they're putting this open space land, but it's, you know, it's open space so you don't build any new buildings right there. It's not a new park, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's important to
And in fact,
distinguish.
as a place to start, what I wanted to do is provide you, so this is our, and Joe, you'll be interested to see this, this is our open space map packet. So this exists on the website, but we have this available for people at the public library and online. So not only does it have our adopted trail rules and regulations, but it also has some of the major parcels that are used in the community and promoted for trail work. And I think we'd all agree that these might be logical places to start. Again, we're not trail marking, we're boundary marking, and that's that.
Thank you.
And if you haven't been on the trails, we hope you'll get out and use the trail.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Do you have one of these? Does anybody have one of these?
And like I said, it is online, anybody can go on to the town website and get the trails as well.
So I think too, if it makes sense, if you'd like, you know, think about this as a committee or discuss it as a committee, if you'd be open to perhaps a subcommittee working group that would make sense, you know, so you don't take time from your regular business, if you have members of interested, to kind of move this forward.
Yeah, I mean,
We'd
we've
be
certainly,
grateful.
we have member representatives of other, you know, committees and stuff. If there's, I'm not sure the official way to approve that, if anybody's interested to.
Actually, I think, Mr. Chairman, that we're supposed to have a representative on your committee, aren't we? Are we not? I thought we were.
I'm not aware that we've ever had.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it.
We'll have to look into it, but I think
Yeah.
we were supposed to have a conservation designee. If you can check with the town manager, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to have, because we have a representative for the CPA, a representative for the Housing Authority. I'm pretty sure your committee is supposed to have a representative from the Conservation Commission
So
on
the
there.
conservation agent, the prior conservation agent was participated in the committees?
Then she was a representative from this committee.
She was, and then they actually made the determination that that role would not be participating in the committee any longer, so.
Then they
Worth
changed it.
investigating. Everyone's welcome, they're public meetings. Everyone's welcome.
All right, so, well, we can table that one part of the discussion
course.
for right now. But yeah, I think, you know, this is a good plan. I really like it, so I think we should continue discussing this. And thank you very much for presenting everything.
Thank you.
And going over all of this.
You're welcome to our meeting as well.
Yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow night.
So clear your schedules.
So clear your schedule, we're here tomorrow, 6 PM, and we're in the site.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any old business? No. Any new business? Not seeing anything. Administrators' reports? Anything? No? All right, adjournment. Can I have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Chairman votes aye as well. The meeting is ended.
We're working out the kinks.